Exponential equations. Question number 1. Solve 3 to the power of 3 equals 3 to the power of 4x plus 2. So here, when you want to solve an exponential equation, the first thing you're going to look at is the base numbers. So here we have 3 on this side. 1 second. So we have 3 on this side and 3 on the other side. So if both base numbers are the same, then the exponents always has to be the same. So now let's actually start by solving it. So first you're going to look at the exponents. So you have 3 and on the other side we have 4x plus 2. So you're going to write, for example, let's say we're going to write 3. So 3, and then you're going to write equals to 4x plus 2. So let's just write it down, 4x and then plus 2. So now we have 3 equals 4x plus 2. And now what we want to do is leave leave x alone. And by doing that, we can subtract or add a number from both sides to cancel a number. So here we have plus 2. And what you want to do is, let's say, we have plus 2. What we're going to do is we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So here we're going to subtract 2 and here we're going to subtract 2. You have to use the opposite sign of positive, which is negative. But here, if it said negative 2, you're going to do positive 2. Always use the opposite so you can cancel a number. So we're going to do negative 2 and then cancel that. It's 0, so we don't need it. And then we're going to subtract 2 from this side. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So now we actually cancelled a number and now we have 1. Now we're going to write 4x equals 1, which is the answer. Now we're still not done yet. We want to also we want to divide 4 by both sides. So here it's going to be 4 and here is going to be 4, so we can get the answer. So 4 divided by 4, you can cancel that. The answer is just 1 over 4. So now x equals 1 over 4. So let's look at another example. So here we have 8 to the power of 3x plus 3 equals 8 to the power of 6. So again, the first thing you're going to look at is the base numbers. Here we have 8 and here we have 8. They're the same, so it's totally fine. And now the exponents. So 3x plus 3, and on the other side we have 6. So what we're going to do is we're just going to write 6 and then equals 3x plus 3. So 6 equals 3x plus 3. So now again we want to leave x alone, and by doing that we need to subtract 3 because here we have 3 and here we have positive. Again, if it's positive we need to do negative, so we're going to subtract 3 by both sides. 3 minus 3 is 0, and then minus 3 from here, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So we're still not done yet. Again, we're going to write 3x. For example, let's just write it here, 3x equals the answer, which is 3. So we're going to write 3x equals 3. And then we want to divide 3 by both sides. So divide by 3, divide by 3. We're doing this because we want to leave x alone to find the value of it or the answer of it. So now x equals 1. Now here's another example. Now we have 2 to the power of 3n equals 4. So again, first thing we're going to look at is the base numbers. Here we have 2, but here we have 4. They're not the same base numbers. So when they're not the same base numbers, you can't actually begin to solve the exponents because that's not going to work. The base numbers has to be the same. And we can actually make that. So we're just going to take here for number 4 as an example. And you're going to ask yourself you're just going to ask yourself, for example, a number. What number times by itself gives you 4? And now the answer is pretty easy here, and it's actually 2. But how can you find out? Let's just say, for example, we're just going to write 2 here. So 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. And you can try doing this by multiple numbers, but because number 4 is small and it's actually pretty easy to figure out that the answer is 2, you can, for example, try it at any number, depends on what is the number that's going to be here. Okay, so we did it, and now it's 2 times 2 equals 4. And you may ask yourself, what does that have to do with anything? So it's because you're going to cancel number 4 here, and you're going to write 2. And pay attention, the number that's going to be on the other side has to be the same that you're going to write. So we're going to write 2 here, and then you're going to ask yourself, how many times did you multiply 2 by itself to get 4? And so 2 times 2. How many 2's are there? There are 2. So you're just going to write as an exponent, you're going to write here number 2. So now it's going to be 2 to the power of 3 and equals 2 to the power of 2. So let's just erase this one. And now we can actually solve it like we used to do. So we're going to write 2 equals 3n. Now you can do the opposite. You can write here 3n and here 2. It's totally fine. It's just the same thing. But it may sound confusing. So we're just going to do it the same. So we're just going to switch places. Here is going to be 3n. And here is going to be... And here is going to be 2. We're just writing the exponents here. So now we have 3n equals 2. Now we want to leave n alone, and by doing that we have to divide 3 by both sides. So here is going to be 3 and here is going to be 3. So now the answer here is 2 over 3. You can write it as a decimal point. It's totally fine. It's just the same thing. So now the answer is n equals 2 over 3. Now here's another example. We have 3 to the power of 2x minus 6 equals 81. So again, first thing we're going to look at is if the base numbers are the same. Here we have 3 and here we have 81. So they're not the same number, so we can't solve them. First we have to make 81 the same number as 3. And you can't just write 3 like that. What you're going to do is you're going to look at the base number that's on the other side. So here you have 3. You're going to ask yourself, how many times does 3 times by itself equals 81? So again, ask yourself how many times 3 multiplied by itself gives you 81. And I don't mean like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. No. it's just 3 times by itself. So 3 times 3 is 9, right? So 3 times 3 is 9. And then times 3 is 27. And then you're just going to keep going until you get the number 81. So let's just write that. Let's just begin with 3 times 3, which is 9. And then you're just going to keep adding times 3 times 3 times 3 until you get 81. So you can also use a calculator for this. It's totally fine. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then times 3 is 27. And then you're going to write times 3. And you're going to get 81. So now we actually reached the number 81. So again, you're going to count how many times did you use number 3? How many times did you multiply 3 by itself? So 1, 2, 3, 4. We used it 4 times. So we're just going to cancel 81. And we're going to write 3. And then as an exponent, we're going to write 4. 3 because we multiplied 3 by itself. And number 4 because we multiplied 3 by itself 4 times to get 81. So now we can actually solve it like we used to. So 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 2x minus 6 and 3 to the power of 4. So we're just going to write 4 equals, and then 2x minus 6. So we want to leave x alone. So we're going to, here we have negative 6. So we're going to use the opposite sign of negative, which is positive. And we're going to do positive 6. We're going to add 6 in both sides. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. And then here plus 6. So 4 plus 6 is 10. So we're just going to write here 10. And then on the other side, now we actually found the answer of the question. So now we have 10. And then we're going to write 2x equals 10. So 2x equals 10. And now we want to divide 2 by both sides to get x alone. So here divided by 2, and on the other side divided by 2, and then equals means 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So now you have a whole number and you found the answer. So now x equals 5. Here you have another example. So solve the following exponential equation. We have 3 to the power of 3 equals 3 to the power of 4x plus 2. So first thing we're going to look at is the base numbers. Here we have 3 and here we have 3. They're the same, so it's fine. We can just solve it. So first we're going to use the exponents. So 3 and then equals 4x plus 2. So 3 equals 4x plus 2. And now we want to leave x alone. So we have to, here we have positive 2, so we have to use the opposite sign, which is negative, and we're going to subtract 2 by both sides. 2 minus 2, 0, and then here minus 2. So 2 minus 2 is, 3 minus 2 is 1. So now I have the answer. And now we're going to write 4x, 4x equals the answer, which is 1. And we still want to get x alone, so we need to divide 4 by both sides. So here it's going to be 4, and here it's going to be 4. 4, that's the answer. So now x equals 1 over 4. Here we have our final example. Solve the following exponential equation. So we have 4p plus 2 equals 64. So now you're going to ask yourself, since 4 and 64, they're not the same base number, so we're just going to do the same as we did previously, and that is we're going to cancel 64. Well, not yet, because you want to multiply 4 by itself multiple times till you get 64. So again, you can just use a calculator. So we're going to write, for example, 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. And that's not 64, so we're just going to keep going. And then we're just going to add another 4. So 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So now we actually reached this number. So you can now cancel it. So wait, what? First you want to count how many times did you multiply 4 by itself. So 4 times 4 times 4, 1, 2, 3. We multiplied 4 by itself 3 times, sorry. So we can now cancel 4. So and then you can write 4 to the power of 3. 4 because we multiplied 4 by itself, and 3 because we multiplied 4 by itself 3 times to get 64. So now we can solve normally. So 3. Again, now we're just paying attention to the exponents. We're writing the exponents. 3 equals p plus 2. So we want to leave p alone. So we're going to use the opposite sign of positive, which is negative, and we're going to subtract 2 by both sides. 2 minus 2 is 0, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So now, and that's just the answer basically. You can just write here p equals 1. And that's it.